Hi, I'm Hannah Rogers, applying for the Respiratory Therapist Assistant at AI DuPont. Hi, how are you? I'm really excited to be here. I think AI DuPont is like my top, most favorite hospitals. I actually grew up here. My dad's been working here since I was born, even before that. And I've just come here every weekend to work with him and see the children. Just being as a buddy to all of them. So now that I'm older and coming into that medical field, I think this job opportunity is one of the most important and one that seemed most relevant to me in my decision making for this. What's biggest in motivating me? Well, motivating me, I feel like there has to be something at the end, like almost when you think about a rainbow with a big pot of gold at the end, there's something great at the end. So if knowing for me that there's something big at the end of my life and something big at the end of an accomplishment or something big at the end of a course or something like that, I feel like that motivates me and strives me to want to work harder. So knowing that something can be great and something is going to be great at the end or the beginning or the middle or anything, that's going to push me harder to get to that point faster. 5 years for me, well, since I'm working in respiratory field and I want to get my full bachelor's, maybe my master's eventually. Obviously that's something to work on, but that doesn't happen in 5 years very fast. But in 5 years, I would love to have my full bachelor's, work in a facility or a hospital that I absolutely adore. And of course, children in a children's hospital for me is just more than anything because I love kids, and eventually want to start a family of my own. That'd be something that I want to be in 5 years. Full career, family life, just something that I've always dreamed of since I was a little girl. So that's something that is very important to me. Grades for me, since I am in college and I do strive to be the best I can be, grades are very important. I mean, if you can't be a failing student and have failing grades and pass anything. You can't fail and pass at the same time. So I feel like if you're working hard and you're doing everything you possibly can to get a great grade, then you're gonna pass. You're gonna feel better about yourself. You're gonna have the education that you want and that you've tried so hard for. Now, if you fail and you just don't care, that's another topic. Like, grades are just something so much in the academic field for a student, and a lot of the medical based programs, you have to have a certain GPA. So I feel like academically, if you're not doing well, you're just not going to do well in that field in general. That if you don't get a good grade and you don't like it, then that's not made for you. And that's why I chose respiratory, because I absolutely loved it and I adapted so well and got such good grades in that field in the medical classes. So I think that's why I strive so hard, is getting better grades, better outcome for me. Describe, like, basically there was a hard time for me when I had to make a decision professionally and academically. It was basically, I was at work in a medical kind of setting. It was a medical assistant, and my cousin, my closest cousin ever, best friends, we were actually in the same doctor's office, and she came in late, which, I mean, it can happen as long as you make your boss aware. And she didn't make him aware, for one. She snuck in, and I noticed she snuck in. I didn't know prior. And then when it came to documentation, she got 2 patients' documents wrong, like backwards. And that could, changing patients' document, it can be the smallest things to the biggest things, and that is detrimental sometimes. It can be life, death, and it could be anything. And I saw it, and of course, even though I love her to death and I would be the first one to back her up, I have to do what's right for my job. I have to do what's right for the patient. I mean, they have their own rights, so I reported it. She got fired, and she knew I reported it because obviously I was the only one that saw her, and she has not talked to me for 3 years. So that's like the hardest thing, is it's not choosing, but it is choosing. So basically, for me, my main goals that I've ever wanted to accomplish, I have. I got the jobs I wanted because I worked so hard. I got the grades I wanted because I study all day, every day. And I feel like that's what initiates the willingness to work in me, is to get everything I want and I deserve and everything, but I have to work so hard for it. So I think that's something that is very likable about me, and what motivates me and what makes me stand out better is because I worked so hard, because I know that something greater can happen. I think I do have a couple questions for this job though. Being in academics, is that something like continuation of academics for higher goal, for higher education, or anything? Is that something that is very much encouraged here and looked positively upon, or is it something that it kind of deters because you have to adapt with scheduling and all that kind of stuff with a person working here? And since DuPont is such a well-known hospital in Delaware, it's like one of the best hospitals in Delaware for children and everything, is this a hospital or a facility that might expand, or might be involved with other hospitals and facilities in other states, other countries, all across America, like everything? That would be something, because I think expansion is always a great idea. So that's something I would want to know. Oh, well, thank you. It was nice meeting you too. Thank you. Thank you for interviewing me. Bye-bye.